The starship Aurora floated quietly through the dark expanse of space, a small glimmer of human ingenuity against the endless void. Its polished metal hull reflected distant starlight, and inside, the crew moved with purpose. Accustomed to the rhythm of exploration, Captain Alara sat in her command chair, eyes fixed on the glowing displays before her. The familiar hum of the ship's engines, like a heartbeat. She had led countless missions before, but today's assignment was different. A faint, unusual signal had been detected from a sector of space that had long been charted as empty. No human or alien traffic had been recorded there for decades. Yet something was sending a call for attention. Dr. Ravi, the ship's science officer, leaned over his console, tracing the irregular pulses on the screen. "It's weak," he said, his voice a mixture of curiosity and excitement. "Almost like it's hiding, but not completely. I've never seen anything like this." Lieutenant Mara, the security officer, crossed her arms and frowned. "Hiding? Or trying to trick us? You know how these things go. We could be walking into a trap. I say we keep our distance until we know more." Engineer Theo, lounging in the corner with a cup of coffee in hand, laughed softly. "Come on, Mara. Since when did humans ever avoid a little mystery? That's like saying we shouldn't explore a new planet because it might have bugs." Ilara smiled faintly. "Curiosity is part of who we are," she said, "but caution is just as important. Ravi, I want a full scan of the signal. Mara, keep security protocols ready. Theo, prepare for boarding. If this is a distress call, we go in fully prepared." The crew worked quickly, a synchronized machine honed by years of training. The signal grew stronger as the Aurora approached, leading them to a derelict ship drifting silently among the stars. It was unlike any vessel they had seen before, though its design was unmistakably human in origin. Its metal was sleek but weathered, and small lights flickered across its surface as if echoing a heartbeat. Dr. Ravi's eyes widened as he stared at the screen. "This ship, it looks empty. But all systems are active. The food replicators, life support, even the temperature controls. They're all on. Someone or something was here recently." Mara's frown deepened. "Recently? How do you mean? Days? Weeks?" Ravi shook his head. "Hours, maybe less. There are no crew logs. No signs of anyone on board. Yet everything is functioning perfectly. Even the food replicators are running. And..." He paused, almost in disbelief. "The meals are warm." Theo whistled. "Warm food in an empty ship? That's strange. Almost inviting. Isn't it?" Alara's eyes narrowed. "That's exactly why we have to be careful. Something isn't right. Mara, I want full security measures. Ravi, Theo, you two come with me. We board as a single unit. Move cautiously. No assumptions." The airlock opened with a soft hiss, and the crew stepped onto the mysterious vessel. The interior was immaculate, almost too perfect for an abandoned ship. Corridors gleamed under bright lights, and the scent of cooked meals filled the air. A comforting, yet unnerving contrast to the emptiness around them. Plates sat neatly on tables, drinks steamed gently, and the beds in the sleeping quarters looked slept in, though no one was there. "This is unsettling," Mara muttered, her eyes scanning every corner. "It's like the crew vanished in the middle of their routine." Ravi wandered to a console and began analyzing the ship's logs. The last entries show normal activity up until hours ago. No distress signals. No warnings. Just nothing. It's as if they all walked out and disappeared. Theo examined the kitchen area, picking up a plate and shaking his head. And yet the food is fresh. Somebody just cooked this. Or something. That's impossible. Isn't it? Alara kept her gaze forward, her mind racing with possibilities. "Nothing is impossible until we know it. Stick together. Check every system. I want to know who or what was here, and why the crew vanished." As they moved deeper into the ship, the sense of unease grew. Small shadows flickered at the edge of their vision, and soft, almost imperceptible sounds echoed down the hallways. Alara paused more than once, listening carefully. "Stay alert," she warned. "It might be the ship settling, or it might be something else." Ravi moved toward a holographic display, tracing the ship's activity. "There's a pattern here," he said. The crew's movements were recorded, but after a certain point, the logs stop. No one enters the control room, no one leaves the sleeping quarters. It's like the ship itself was waiting for something, or someone. Mara tightened her grip on her security tool. "Or someone is still here and wants us to find them." Theo chuckled nervously. "Great. Haunted ship. Exactly what I wanted today." Alara didn't respond. She had seen too much to dismiss even the slightest possibility. They continued through the corridors, every creak and flicker making Mara jump, every shadow making Ravi hesitate. Yet nothing concrete appeared until they entered the dining hall. The tables were set as if expecting diners. Steam rose gently from bowls of stew. Bread was warm, and cups of tea waited to be sipped. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. "Whoever was here wanted us to see this," Ravi said softly. "It's a message, but I don't know what it means yet." Alara studied the arrangement. "It's not a trap. At least, not a violent one. But it's meant to provoke curiosity. We need to be careful, but we also need to understand why this is here." Every detail could be a clue. As they moved through the ship, exploring cabins, labs, and recreation areas, the mysteries only deepened. Personal belongings were scattered, yet there was no sign of a struggle. Beds were used but untouched. Chairs were pulled out as if someone had just risen, and the air smelled faintly of meals recently eaten. Theo paused in front of a mirror. "You ever get the feeling you're being watched? Like someone is just there, but not?" Mara nodded. "Exactly. I feel it too. Keep your eyes open. Every corner, every shadow." The crew reached the ship's bridge, the control center where the captain would normally be stationed. Panels blinked with lights, the star charts displayed routes through the galaxy, and everything was perfectly operational. Yet the chairs were empty, and no one moved. Ravi accessed the navigation logs. No anomalies, no sudden jumps. They weren't fleeing from danger in space. They just disappeared from this point. Alara stepped forward, her hand hovering over the main console. "Then our job is to find out why. Mara, secure the perimeter. Theo, start recording everything. Ravi, analyze the logs and look for anything out of place. We leave no stone unturned." Suddenly, a shadow passed across the hallway behind them. Mara spun around, weapon raised, but the corridor was empty. "False alarm?" Theo whispered, though his voice was tight with tension. Ravi shook his head. "No, that was something. But it wasn't physical. It's like the ship is aware of us. It's reacting." Alara's mind raced. "Then we proceed carefully. Observe everything. Document everything. That's the only way to understand what we're dealing with." Hours passed as the crew methodically explored the vessel. The sense of mystery was almost tangible. A thick layer of tension that made each sound echo, and every flicker of light significant. Yet, despite the eerie atmosphere, they found themselves captivated by the human touches left behind. The warmth of the meals, the neatness of the cabins, the small personal items, it all spoke to the care and routine of life. Even in a vessel adrift in the void, it was Ravi who first spoke aloud, almost in wonder. "It's strange. Even if the crew vanished, they left reminders of themselves, their habits, their meals, their routines. That's human. It's resilience, order, care. Even in the unknown, they maintained humanity." Alara nodded slowly. "And that might be the key to understanding this. Whoever, or whatever, left this ship behind, wants us to see that. They left a message without words. They left proof of human ingenuity, of our habits, our lives, our care for one another. It's remarkable. As the crew settled into one of the observation lounges to rest, a quiet sense of unease lingered. The warmth of the food remained, a small comfort, but the feeling of being watched persisted. No one slept fully. Every creak of the hull, every flicker of the lights, every shadow drew their attention. And then, just as Theo began to relax, a faint whisper echoed through the corridor. It was soft, almost melodic. A sound that seemed familiar and yet impossible to place. Mara froze. "Did you hear that?" Ravi's eyes widened. It sounds like someone calling our names. But there's no one there. Ilara rose to her feet, her expression determined. "Stay together. We need to find the source. This ship has secrets, and it's trying to tell us something. We will understand it, but we do it on our terms. No panic. No assumptions. Step by step." As they moved cautiously toward the source of the sound, the warm aroma of the meals seemed to intensify, wrapping them in a strange sense of comfort and unease. They had entered a ship that was empty, yet alive in its own way, a ship that had no crew but warm food inside. And in that moment, they realized that the mystery was only beginning. The crew of the Aurora moved cautiously through the silent corridors of the abandoned ship. The whispering voices they had heard earlier seemed to have disappeared, yet a strange tension hung in the air. Each step they took echoed unnaturally, making them acutely aware of how alone they really were. The warmth of the food lingered faintly in the air, comforting yet oddly disquieting, as if the ship were alive in ways they could not yet understand. Captain Ilara led the group, her eyes scanning every shadow, every corner, for signs of life or danger. "We proceed carefully," she reminded them. "Observe, record, and do not touch anything unless necessary." Dr. Ravi was already examining a console in the hallway, tracing the ship's logs and systems. "The AI is inactive," he said softly. "Or it's hiding itself. None of the usual controls respond. The ship's systems are operational, but no one is piloting it. No messages are being sent. Yet, the life support, food systems, even the recreation modules are all running perfectly." Lieutenant Mara's hand hovered over her security tool, her eyes sharp. "It's almost like the ship is maintaining itself. For someone. But who? And why?" Theo, usually full of jokes, was uncharacteristically silent as he inspected the kitchen area again. The plates, still warm from earlier, now seemed almost like a puzzle. "This doesn't make sense," he muttered. "Food doesn't just stay warm on its own. Either someone or something is preparing it, or the ship is imitating life." Ravi frowned, his mind working quickly. Imitating life? That's an interesting theory. If the ship is creating meals, cleaning, and maintaining itself as if a crew were present, it could be a test. Or a simulation. Ilara's gaze sharpened. "A test? By whom?" Ravi shrugged. "We don't know yet. But everything about this ship is unusual. Whoever left it or whatever created it has the capability to anticipate human behavior. That's remarkable." The crew moved deeper into the vessel, exploring cabins, labs, and storage areas. Everywhere they looked, the signs of human activity were present, but incomplete. Beds were neatly made yet appeared recently slept in. Chairs were pushed out slightly as if someone had just risen, and personal items lay scattered in patterns that suggested routine rather than chaos. Mara paused by one of the cabins. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a small hollow projector on a desk. It flickered to life at her touch, showing faint images of crew members performing everyday tasks. Cooking, exercising, cleaning, small, human activities captured in time. "It's almost like a memory," she said quietly. Ravi leaned closer. "Yes, but there's a gap in the recordings. They all stop suddenly. And the last few frames are strange." The crew members seem to look at something off camera, almost like they're aware of being watched. Theo walked to the recreation area, picking up a small ball that bounced slightly under his fingers. It's like someone left breadcrumbs for us to follow. Every detail, every habit, it's all human. Maybe that's the point. Whoever did this wanted us to see humanity. Ilara nodded, her thoughts racing. Humanity. Or a message about humanity. That could be a clue. Keep observing. Keep recording. We need to understand what this ship is trying to tell us. As they explored, small anomalies began to occur. Lights flickered without warning, hallways seemed to stretch slightly, and cold spots appeared in certain areas. Shadows moved at the edge of their vision, but whenever they turned, nothing was there. Every sensation made Mara's grip on her security tool tighter, and even Theo seemed unsettled. Ravi stopped at the ship's central laboratory, examining a series of experiments left unfinished. "These are human experiments," he said. "Nothing dangerous, just studies, behavioral tests, basic research, even cooking trials. Everything indicates normal human life, but incomplete." Someone or something interrupted it. Ilara stepped beside him. Or perhaps it wasn't an interruption. Perhaps this is the ship's purpose, to show us these fragments of life, to see how we respond. Mara shook her head. Respond? How do you respond to an empty ship that acts alive? I say we keep moving. But every step feels like it's leading us into a trap. Theo laughed nervously. It's the perfect puzzle. Whoever left this knows we're curious, brave, and a little reckless. And they're testing all three. The crew paused in the dining hall again, the place where the warm meals had first caught their attention. Ravi leaned over one of the tables, scanning the plates. The food is culturally diverse, he said. Some dishes are human, some are alien. Yet everything is perfectly prepared. Whoever created this understands us. Our tastes, our habits, even our expectations. That's not random. Ilara nodded slowly. It's intelligence. The ship or its creator is intelligent, and it's watching us. Every move we make, every choice we take, it's observing. Suddenly, the temperature shifted. A cold draft passed through the hall, yet the aroma of food remained warm and inviting. The crew froze. A faint whispering sound echoed softly around them, repeating a syllable that sounded almost like their own names. Mara gripped her security tool tighter. I told you we're not alone. Something is here, watching. We need to be ready for anything. Ravi took a deep breath. Or it's a test. Think about it. Everything about this ship, the warmth, the order, the anomalies is designed to provoke reaction. Curiosity, fear, cooperation. These are human traits. Maybe it wants to see how we handle them. Theo shook his head slowly. Great. So we're guinea pigs in a cosmic science experiment. Just what I wanted today. Ilara raised a hand, silencing their chatter. Whatever it is, we need to act as a team. No one panics. No one makes assumptions. We observe, analyze, and proceed carefully. That's the only way to navigate this. They moved deeper into the ship, toward the bridge and command center. Every system was operational, every display blinking softly. But the controls remained unresponsive. No crew logs existed past a certain point, and yet the entire ship seemed alive, as if it remembered human routines. Ravi examined the star charts. No anomalies in the navigation logs, no sudden jumps, no strange activity. The crew didn't flee from space. They simply vanished from this point onward, and the last few frames of their logs, they seemed to be aware of something approaching, but we don't see what. See. Mara's eyes narrowed. Approaching? You mean us? Ravi nodded. Perhaps, or perhaps something else. Either way, it's clear the ship is aware, and it's leaving clues for us to follow. Theo walked to a corner of the bridge and ran his hands over a console. I don't like this. It's too perfect, too clean, too alive. I feel like every step we take is being watched. And the more we explore, the more it responds. Alara stood at the center of the bridge, her arms crossed. That's exactly what we need to pay attention to. The ship's behavior, the patterns, the anomalies, it's all information. We document it, we analyze it, and we stay aware. That's our path forward. Hours passed as they explored. Shadows flickered at the edges of their vision. Whispers echoed softly through empty corridors, and the warmth of the meals persisted as if inviting them to stay. Each crew member faced small tests of courage and patience. Mara's nerves were stretched by the eerie quiet. Theo's humor strained under the tension. Ravi's curiosity battled with unease. And Alara maintained calm and leadership, the anchor for the team. In the observation lounge, the crew paused to rest and reflect. Ravi spoke first. It's remarkable. Even without the crew, this ship is a record of humanity. Our habits, our routines, our care for one another. It's all preserved here. Whoever or whatever left this wants us to notice that. To understand it. Alara nodded. And that might be the key. The ship is not just empty. It's a message. Perhaps a test. Perhaps a demonstration. But it's telling us something about ourselves, our habits, our resilience, our humanity. We need to pay attention. Mara rubbed her eyes. I understand that. But it's still unnerving. The shadows, the whispers, the warmth. It's all too deliberate. Too much like someone is guiding us, or watching us. Theo leaned back in his chair, sighing. Deliberate or not, we're in it now. Let's figure it out before it figures us out. Ravi smiled faintly. Exactly. And the more we explore, the more evidence we gather. This is a puzzle. Yes, but it's also an opportunity. We're seeing humanity reflected in the most unusual of ways. That's inspiring. Alara stood, looking at her team. Rest for now, but keep alert. This ship has more to show us, and we need to be ready for the next stage. Whoever, or whatever, designed this is patient. But so are we. As they settled, a faint light flickered at the far end of the corridor. A soft glow, unlike any artificial light, pulsed gently. The crew exchanged cautious glances. Shall we see what that is? Theo asked, half joking, half serious. Alara nodded. We will. Together. Step by step. This ship is teaching us patience, observation, and courage. And we will learn. That is what it means to be human. The soft glow continued to pulse, inviting, mysterious, and alive. The warm meals remained, a small reminder that life, even in its simplest forms, endures. And in the silence of the ship, the crew of the Aurora prepared for the next chapter of the mystery. A chapter that would challenge their intelligence, their teamwork, and the very essence of their humanity. They had entered a ship with no crew, yet the signs of life were everywhere. Warm food, shadows, whispers, and patterns of human behavior surrounded them. And as the crew took careful steps toward the unknown, they knew that the mystery of the ship was only beginning. The soft, pulsing light in the corridor drew the attention of the entire crew. It glowed gently, like a heartbeat, steady and oddly calming. Yet there was nothing comforting about the situation. The abandoned ship felt far too alive, and the strange glow seemed to call them forward, as if inviting them into the next stage of a game they did not fully understand. Captain Alara walked at the front, her footsteps quiet but confident. Behind her, Ravi recorded every reading his scanner could detect, and Mara kept her weapon held tight, scanning every shadow. Theo walked last, his eyes darting around even though he tried to pretend he wasn't nervous. The glow led them to a circular chamber they had not explored before. The moment they entered, the door slid shut behind them with a soft hiss. Mara spun around instantly. Locked, she said sharply. Automatically, Theo swallowed. Well, that's not good. Ravi took a slow breath. Or maybe it's intentional. Like the ship wants us to be here. Ilara nodded. Then let's see why. The center of the room lit up, revealing a holographic projection. It glimmered softly, forming shapes that shifted and blurred. At first, it resembled a human figure, then an alien one, then something else entirely. It was as if the ship was trying to choose a form that would not frighten them. Finally, the form settled into a neutral shape, neither human nor alien, but something simple and calm. A voice filled the air, soft and layered. It did not sound like any one species. Instead, it sounded like many voices speaking together in harmony. You have entered the trial. The crew froze. Ilara stepped forward. Who are you? Who are you? We are observers, the voice said. We watch, we test, we learn. Where is the original crew? Mara demanded. They passed their trial, the voice replied. Now you must face yours. Theo let out a nervous laugh. Great. Just great. Now we're in some kind of space exam room. Ravi frowned. What kind of trial? What are you testing? The hologram flickered. Your humanity. Ilara took a careful breath. What does that mean? You will face 3 challenges, the voice explained. Not of strength, but of character. Not of fear, but of choice. Mara muttered. I knew this place was a giant test. Before anyone could react, the room shifted. The walls rippled like water, and the floor beneath their feet changed. Suddenly, the 4 of them found themselves standing in what looked like a damaged section of the ship. Lights flickered, panels sparked. The air was dense with smoke and tension. This isn't real, Theo said. It's a simulation. Real or not, Ilara replied. We treat it seriously. The first challenge began. A loud alarm echoed through the hallway. The ceiling above them cracked, and a beam of metal crashed down, blocking the path ahead. On the other side of the beam, the hologram created the image of a person, someone in a crew uniform, trapped under debris. Struggling to breathe, Ravi gasped. Is that a real person? No, Ilara said firmly. But the test wants to see how we react. A second alarm sounded behind them. Another crew member appeared, this one injured, and lying near a leaking coolant pipe. Blue vapor hissed dangerously around them. Mara cursed under her breath. It's making us choose. Theo looked between the 2 illusions. We can't reach both in time. Even in a simulation. Ravi shook his head. This is cruel. Ilara's expression hardened. No. It's a test of priorities. We don't abandon anyone. We work together, she pointed quickly. Theo, seal the coolant line. Mara, help me lift the beam. Ravi, stabilize both illusions, as best as you can. We don't treat them like they're not real. We treat them like our own. They split up. Theo rushed to the coolant pipe, using his engineering tool to seal the leak. The vapor stopped, and the injured figure coughed weakly. Mara and Ilara lifted the beam with all their strength. Even though it was a simulation, the weight felt real. Painfully real. Mara's muscles shook. Ilara's breath grew heavy. But neither let go. Ravi knelt by both injured illusions, moving back and forth, applying whatever basic first aid he could. Even though he knew they were not real, his hands were gentle and steady. After several intense minutes, a soft chime sounded. The beam vanished. The injured figures faded. The alarm stopped. The hologram reappeared. First challenge complete. You chose cooperation. You chose unity. This is good. Ravi wiped sweat from his forehead. I didn't like that. Theo nodded. Me neither. But at least we worked together. Ilara stayed alert. We're not done. Prepare for the second challenge. Once again, the room shifted. The floor dissolved beneath them, and they found themselves standing in a large chamber filled with mirrors. Endless reflections stared back at them, distorted, stretched, reversed, multiplied. The air felt colder here, and silence pressed against their ears. Ravi blinked. What is this place? A test of perception. The voice answered. See, truly. Choose wisely. The mirrors shimmered. Each mirror showed different versions of the crew, not illusions of danger this time, but illusions of themselves. Ilara saw herself in one mirror giving orders calmly. In another, she hesitated. In another, she looked uncertain. In yet another, she saw herself alone, without a crew behind her. Mara saw mirrors where she was brave, and mirrors where she was afraid. Theo saw versions of himself confident, and versions failing. Ravi saw a version of himself proud, and another version overwhelmed. The reflections were endless. Suddenly, one mirror cracked, another shattered. The sound echoed sharply as a chaotic mix of reflections broke apart. A path appeared in the middle of the mirror maze, glowing faintly. The voice spoke again. Choose the version of yourselves you believe is true. Mara stared. What does that even mean? We're real. Theo pointed at one reflection of himself, solving a tough engineering problem, and laughed nervously. Can I choose the upgraded version of me? He looks smarter. Ravi shook his head. That's not the point. It wants us to understand ourselves. Our strengths. Our fears. 5. Ilara studied her own reflections closely. We choose the mirror that shows who we truly are, not perfect, not weak, just real. One mirror caught her eye. It showed her leading her team not flawlessly, but with determination. She stepped toward it. The mirror glowed. Ravi chose a reflection of himself studying a tough problem with calm focus. Mara chose a reflection where she stood guard with quiet strength, not fear, not aggression. Theo chose a reflection that showed him repairing something while still joking lightly. Each mirror glowed as they made their choices. The maze dissolved instantly. Second challenge complete, the voice said. You chose self-awareness. You acknowledged truth. This is good. Theo let out a long breath. I'm starting to think this ship is too smart. Ravi nodded. It understands psychology. That means this test is not random. Ilara looked around. One challenge left. Stay alert. The room transformed again. This time, they were standing on the deck of the ship, the real ship. The lights were dim. The engines hummed. For a moment, it felt like they were back inside the Aurora, but then the illusion changed. The abandoned ship began to shake violently. Alarms blared. The floor shifted. Panels burst open, sparking wildly. The hologram of the ship flashed red warnings everywhere. It's simulating a disaster, Mara shouted. Theo scanned rapidly. Engines failing, core overheating, systems collapsing. Ravi checked a nearby panel. If this were real, the ship would explode in minutes. The hologram's voice spoke calmly. Final challenge. Save the ship. Ilara stepped forward immediately. Team positions. Everyone move. They sprang into action. Theo rushed to a control panel, trying to stabilize the engines. I can slow the overheating, but not stop it. Mara secured loose panels, protecting the crew from explosions of sparks. Ravi analyzed cascading failures. The core temperature is rising too fast. We need to reroute power manually. Ilara moved rapidly between them, giving orders and adjusting systems. We don't give up. We solve this. Together, Theo gritted his teeth. We're running out of time. The temperature readings climbed. Ravi moved to another console. We need to shut down half the systems to reduce the load. That could crash the ship, Mara warned. But it might save the core. Ravi replied. Ilara made the call. Do it. Theo rerouted the emergency power. Sparks flew across the room. The ship shook even harder. Mara braced herself against the wall. It's working. The temperature is dropping, but not enough. Theo yelled, We need one final push. All of you, on the main console. The four of them placed their hands on the central interface. The panel recognized their combined input. Lights surged across the room. The ship steadied. The alarms stopped. The temperature dropped to safe levels. Silence filled the chamber. Then the hologram appeared again. Final challenge complete. You chose teamwork. You chose reason. You chose courage. The crew breathed heavily, each of them shaken but standing proud. Ilara raised her chin. We passed your test. The hologram bowed slightly. Yes, humanity remains. Remarkable. The walls shifted again, dissolving the simulation and returning them to the real abandoned ship. The calm lights returned. The warm aroma of food filled the air again. You have proven your species worthy of understanding, the voice said. Now you may see the truth. The crew exchanged tense glances. Ilara spoke softly. Then show us. The ship hummed as if preparing a final revelation, and the mystery of the empty vessel, warm meals untouched, shadows alive, whispers calling, was finally ready to reveal its purpose. The trial was over, but the truth was only beginning. The crew of the Aurora stood together in the center of the mysterious ship, their faces reflecting a mix of exhaustion, determination, and wonder. They had faced strange phenomena, shadows, whispers, and tests of their courage and intelligence. But nothing had prepared them for the final trial. The glow in the corridor had grown brighter over the hours, pulsing gently, almost as if it were breathing. Every system on the ship seemed alive, responsive to their presence, yet still silent and empty of life. Captain Ilara took a deep breath. This is it, she said softly. Whatever this is, it wants to test us fully. We face it together, and we do not fail. Dr. Ravi adjusted the scanner on his wrist, studying the unusual energy readings coming from the glow. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. The energy patterns seem to respond to our thoughts, our movements. It's almost as if the ship itself is alive, or aware of us as individuals. Lieutenant Mara tightened her grip on her security tool, her eyes scanning the corridor. I don't like it. It's too aware, too smart. We need a plan, Captain. If this is a test, we can't just react. We have to anticipate it. Theo, always the one to break tension with humor, tried a small smile. Anticipate an alien consciousness? Piece of cake. Totally normal Tuesday. Right? Ilara ignored his joke, focusing on the task ahead. We move together. We observe carefully, and we act decisively. Split-second decisions could matter. We cannot hesitate, and we cannot act recklessly. Everyone, follow my lead. The crew stepped forward as one, entering the corridor bathed in the pulsing light. It felt warm yet electric, familiar yet alien. The glow shifted as they approached, almost guiding them. Ravi's scanner beeped rapidly, indicating fluctuating energy patterns. It's analyzing us, he said. Every step, every heartbeat, every decision we make, it's tracking it all. Mara's voice was tense. Then, let's make sure it sees what humans are capable of. Bravery, intelligence, cooperation. As they moved, the corridor changed subtly. Walls that had been solid now seemed translucent, revealing faint images of the crew themselves in earlier moments. They saw themselves cooking, repairing, exploring moments from the past few days reflected in a strange, shimmering reality. Theo stopped in amazement. It's showing us. Us. Every decision. Every small act. Even the funny little things I did to lighten the mood. Ilara nodded. It wants to see our essence. Our humanity. How we think. How we act. How we care for each other. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shifted slightly, forming a gentle slope that led into a vast chamber. At its center was a sphere of pure light, hovering a few meters above the ground, radiating energy in waves. The crew felt a quiet hum in their bones, a subtle vibration that seemed to resonate with their own heartbeat. This must be the core, Ravi whispered. The source of the ship's awareness. And our final test. Mara's eyes narrowed. And it's intimidating. I can feel it watching, judging, learning. One wrong step, and who knows what could happen. Ilara stepped forward, holding her hand out slightly. We face it together. Every challenge we've overcome led us here. The skills we've learned, the teamwork we've built, the courage we've shown. This is the moment it matters. The sphere pulsed brighter, and the chamber around them shifted. Images of alien worlds, complex star systems, and unfamiliar technology surrounded them, moving and swirling like a living tapestry. The crew felt dizzy but focused. The energy seemed to respond to their thoughts, revealing that the sphere could perceive intention. Ravi took a cautious step closer. It's not just testing skill or courage. It's testing understanding, empathy, and collaboration. Every decision we make affects the energy patterns around it. Mara adjusted her stance, ready for anything. Then we proceed carefully. We think together, act together. That's how humans succeed. Theo swallowed hard. And somehow, we also need to impress a glowing alien brain in the process. No pressure. Elara ignored the humor and spoke firmly. We start with coordination. Ravi, analyze the sphere's energy flow. Mara, watch for hazards and maintain our safety. Theo, assist with any interfaces. I will guide us. As Ravi approached the sphere with his scanner, the light reacted. Energy streams extended toward him, forming shapes and patterns in the air. It was almost like the sphere was communicating through motion. Ravi studied the movements carefully, noting that each pattern responded to thought and gesture. It's complex, he murmured. But I can see a logic. It's testing not just observation, but problem-solving. We need to work with it, not against it. Elara nodded. Then we follow the logic. Observe, adapt, cooperate. The crew moved in unison, each member playing a vital role. Theo manipulated the ship's interface to mirror the energy patterns. Ravi interpreted the reactions, Mara ensured their safety, and Elara directed the flow of their actions. Slowly, the sphere's pulses became steadier, brighter, more harmonious. After what felt like hours, the sphere expanded in light, enveloping the crew in a warm glow that was neither threatening nor harmful. Images of their actions replayed around them, highlighting moments of cooperation, bravery, and ingenuity. It was as if the sphere itself was learning, recording, and acknowledging their humanity. Ravi stepped back, awestruck. It's accepting us. Every action we took, every decision, every moment of teamwork, it recognized us. It understands human resilience. Mara allowed herself a small smile. We did it. Together. Together. The sphere's energy pulsed one final time, and then a calm settled over the chamber. A holographic form appeared at the center, a being of radiant light, humanoid in shape but alien in essence. Its voice was melodic, soft yet commanding, speaking directly into their minds rather than through sound. You have completed the trials, the being said. Your actions have demonstrated courage, intelligence, empathy, and unity. You are the first humans we have observed in this sector. Your species shows qualities we value highly: creativity, adaptability, and cooperation. You are worthy. Elara stepped forward respectfully. We were only doing what humans do. Work together, solve problems, care for one another. That is our way. The being's light shimmered, almost like a nod. And that is precisely why you succeeded. The ability to maintain humanity, order, care, ingenuity, even when faced with the unknown, is remarkable. We have observed, learned, and now we acknowledge you. Theo let out a small, nervous laugh. Ravi smiled. It's more than just passing. It's recognition. Our qualities as humans are being acknowledged by a species far advanced beyond us. Mara nodded, her tension easing. And it proves something important. That no matter the challenge, human traits, our intelligence, courage, and teamwork are what guide us. The being of light extended its form, and the ship around them seemed to pulse with understanding. Systems once dormant now shimmered as if alive, the warm meals in the dining hall glowing gently, the corridors smooth and comforting. The emptiness had transformed into a sanctuary, a record of humanity recognized and honored. You may leave this vessel, the being said. Carry the knowledge of your success into the universe. Let it guide your species. You have shown what humans are capable of, what humans can achieve when they trust themselves and each other. This is a gift, and a responsibility. Alara nodded solemnly. We understand. We will honor it. Ravi turned to the crew. This is incredible. The ship, the trials, the recognition, it's proof that humanity is capable of rising to challenges. No matter how impossible they seem, Mara's expression softened, and it reminds us why we do what we do. Curiosity, courage, and care, those are the qualities that make us human. Even in the emptiest places, even when the unknown surrounds us, we endure. Theo grinned. And somehow, even in a ship with no crew, they left warm food for us. I'm calling that human ingenuity at its finest. The crew laughed softly, tension finally releasing. They had faced the unknown together, passed impossible tests, and proven their worth not just to the alien intelligence that observed them, but to themselves. Every challenge, every moment of fear, every careful decision had strengthened their bond and showcased the resilience of humanity. Ilara took one last look around the chamber, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. This ship, these trials, they were meant to test, yes. But they also remind us of who we are. Humans can adapt, create, and cooperate, even in the most unusual circumstances. That is our strength. The crew made their way back to the Aurora, the alien ship now calm, peaceful, and filled with an almost reverent quiet. The warmth of the food, the care in every detail, and the intelligence behind every system left a lasting impression on them. They had learned that humanity was more than survival, it was creativity, care, courage, and cooperation. As they entered the Aurora, the alien ship drifted silently behind them, its mysteries intact but its message clear. Humans had proven themselves worthy, not through force or aggression, but through intellect, empathy, and unity. The universe was wider, stranger, and more wondrous than they had imagined. But they were ready to meet it. Ilara sat in the captain's chair, looking at her crew with pride. We faced the unknown and succeeded together. That is the essence of being human. Let's carry this forward, wherever we go. The crew nodded, a quiet understanding passing between them. They had entered a ship with no crew, faced trials unlike anything they had imagined, and emerged victorious not through weapons, but through humanity itself. The warm food, the subtle guidance, and the challenges of the alien ship had all reminded them that human qualities, intelligence, courage, cooperation, and care were their greatest strengths. As the Aurora departed the sector, leaving the alien ship behind, the crew looked out into the vast expanse of stars. They knew that humanity's journey among the stars would be full of challenges, mysteries, and tests. Yet, they also knew that as long as they trusted themselves, cared for each other, and embraced their humanity, there was no obstacle too great, no trial too impossible, and no unknown too strange. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of potential and wonder. And the crew of the Aurora, strengthened by their experience, moved forward with courage, intelligence, and the quiet certainty that humanity, even in the face of the vast unknown, could shine brightly. The ship behind them, empty yet alive, remained a testament to what they had achieved. Warm food, careful design, and intelligent guidance had led them to this moment. They had discovered not just the mystery of the ship, but the enduring strength of the human spirit. And in the quiet of space, amidst the stars, the crew of the Aurora continued their journey, humans capable of extraordinary things, ready for whatever wonders or challenges the universe might place in their path.